It's been a busy week in cruising, and we're going to discuss several of the biggest stories, including canceled and changed cruises, new ships, and saving a buck on a cruise. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy here with your weekly Cruise News Roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. And stick around until the end for an update on my bout with poison ivy, on my face. Yep, I'm going to embarrass myself and even show photos. But before we get to the news, I do want to wish all of those who have served a happy Veterans Day. Our veterans deserve more recognition and benefits than they can ever get. One good thing we saw this week was Carnival donating several 15-passenger vans to veteran groups in popular cruise port cities, including New Orleans and Miami. Way to go, Carnival. As cruise lines go, they are definitely at the top when it comes to honoring military members, current and former. Not only do they have a special venue on their ships, the Heroes Lounge for military and their family, but they also host recognition events regularly on cruises, as well as offering discounts. If you're ready for new ships, they are headed your way. Celebrity took delivery of the Ascent this week in a ceremony at the Chantiers shipyard in France. It's going to make its debut at Fort Lauderdale on December 3rd. Celebrity also announced this week that the fifth ship in its Edge Class series will be named Celebrity XL. XL! I'm sorry. I just think that's a really crazy name for a celebrity ship. Like, I think a celebrity is like kind of a upper tiered adult line, and now they have it. It's literally spelled X-CEL. Like, I could see that from like Virgin Voyages, but celebrity, it's just so crazy. Anyway, it's going to debut in 2025 to sail out of Fort Lauderdale on Caribbean cruises. Celebrity maintains that each new iteration of their Edge Class is bigger and better than the last, with new offerings for cruisers. The Carnival Jubilee began its sea trials on the 5th in preparation for its launch December 23rd from Galveston. The Icon of the Seas passed its second set of sea trials, and Royal announced the entertainment for the ship. This is going to include aqua action featuring Olympic-level divers, skateboarders, aerialists, slackliners. This is something I've never seen in person. I didn't even really know that was that big of a thing. And synchronized swimmers, which I do love, as well as a show called Pirates vs. Mermaids in the Aquadome. The Royal Theatre will be hosting the line's first rendition of The Wizard of Oz, and the Ice Cast is going to be performing a show called Starburst, Elemental Beauty. Do any of these pique your interest? I'm a huge fan of The Wizard of Oz. I have been since I was a kid, but I don't think that's going to be enough to convince me to cruise on one of these huge ships. I don't even want to go on an Oasis-class ship, let alone an Icon class. I just don't think they're for me. What about you, though? Where do you go to book your cruises? Do you book directly with the cruise line? Maybe use a travel agent. Well, Booking.com has announced the launch of Cruises, a new platform for U.S. customers to look for and book cruises. It's basically just another tab in Booking.com. You know, they have hotels, flights, now they got cruises. And they're going to be able to access more than 10,000 sailings on over 30 cruise lines from more than 55 departure ports across the globe. Their big incentive is that customers will have access to deals throughout the year, including up to $1,000 in onboard credit. Now, of course, that depends on how much you spend. The other benefit that they're advertising is the ability for travelers to have a one-stop spot for planning and organizing your trip. But, I mean, that's just, you can book your hotel, your flights, your cruise, all on the same page. To celebrate the launch of Cruises and Black Friday, this November, Booking.com is doubling the onboard credit reward. And then additional deals are also supposed to be offered through certain lines like Carnival, Celebrity, Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean. Do you think that this is a service that you would use? Now, I've used Booking.com in the past for hotels, but I don't know about using them for cruises. If I could get a good deal, I might consider it. I used to book all my cruises on my own through the line, mostly because I don't like giving up control. I know exactly what I want, so it wasn't like I needed a travel agent for that. Since the shutdown, we've been using travel agencies to book our cruises, mostly so if there are issues like there were during the shutdown, we have someone else to go and be our go-between and work out any problems. I still do all the legwork and tell the agent exactly what ship I want, when, even what cabin we want. And I still do all the research and booking of excursions. It's going to be interesting to see if cruisers can use this new Cruises services and still transfer their bookings to a travel agent, or if Booking.com is getting their discounts because they're acting as a travel agency. If you're unaware, travel agents make their money from cruise lines, as lines have a percentage of each fare earmarked for TAs. If you book directly with the line just keeps that money. This is why it doesn't cost cruisers anything to use a travel agent. Now let me know in the comments if you think that you will be checking out and using this new service from Booking.com. If you aren't into Booking.com, there are other ways to save a buck on a cruise, and that includes Black Friday deals. Maybe. It's that time of year again, and lines are going to start offering up some Black Friday deals. I have a theory that I'm going to try to really investigate this next calendar year, as I'm not completely sure that some of these Black Friday deals are really that great of a deal. I mean, there are various sales all year long on most lines, and you really have to pay attention to price increases and how the sales are laid out. Having said that, it's definitely that time of year again. Virgin Voyages Black Friday sales begin on the 16th, and they're offering 30% discounts off cruise fares on all sailings with departures from the 16th through December 31st of 2024, along with some onboard bar tab credits. Now remember, they don't have any drink packages, so that might be worth it. Royal Caribbean sales began back on the 9th, and they continue through November 24th. Deals are valid on cruises from the 13th of November through December 31st of next year. Holland America's promotion begins on the 17th and runs through December 1st, so that's not very long. And they will feature 30% discounts on cruise-only fares on over 800 sailings. So keep your eye out, because more lines are going to be dropping Black Friday sales soon. John Heald announced on his Facebook page that Carnival is offering a pre-cruise online purchase of the Behind the Funds excursion on the Carnival Horizon. Some people noticed it that were booked on the Horizon. It was showing up as an offering, and he brought this up and discussed it. Currently, it's only being offered on Horizon as a test run, but they are hoping to offer it on additional ships in the days and weeks to come, according to Mr. Heald. This will be new, as previously it's only been available once you board the ship in a first-come, first-served limited capacity. Now, would you be willing to book this exclusive excursion if you could do it online? I know I would. Embarkation day is already busy and stressful enough, so adding that to my to-do list just hasn't been something I've attempted to do, even though I'd love to do one of these excursions. This week saw Royal Caribbean officially canceling the Jewel of the Seas 2024 season out of Haifa, Israel, due to the war. The Jewel will now reposition and offer sailings out of Boston. This means an entire season of 3 to 10 night cruises to the Eastern Mediterranean that were scheduled from August to October have been canceled, and it's disappointed many cruisers. It's also affecting the Grandeur of the Seas, as it will now no longer reposition to New England, but instead remain in the Caribbean. So people on those cruises have lost their cruises. Passengers have been offered various options, including changing their reservations to new cruises. Other lines have changed itineraries, and their Holy Land cruises have basically reverted to Mediterranean cruises. Of course, not everyone is taking this news well, and I understand being disappointed about losing out on a once-in-a-lifetime cruise. But would you really want to sail into a war zone? What are people expecting? Personally, I would never have booked a cruise anywhere to the Middle East, even prior to October 7th. That area hasn't been stable in a century, or ever really. Of course, these aren't the only cruises being canceled. Carnival announced the cancellation of 4 Carnival Panorama cruises while the ship goes into dry dock to fix its engine issues after having to cancel 2 of its 3 ports of call in the last week's cruise. In a video announcement this week, John Heald revealed that the line was having to cancel the ship's next 4 sailings while offering quite the compensation for those booked on the cruises. Or is it a great compensation? I'll let you decide. Everyone's getting an automatic full refund on their cruise and any purchases made through the line. That's standard. Those originally on today's November 11th and then next week's Thanksgiving cruise that leaves on the 18th are also going to be getting 100% future cruise credit. Those booked on the November 26th and December 2nd cruise are going to be getting a 50% cruise credit. Plus, Carnival is offering a $200 per person reimbursement on airline fees. Now, that's if you didn't book through the line. Would you be satisfied with this compensation? I think that they're fair compensations, even though I would be super disappointed to miss out on my cruise. I know that I would be very hesitant to book on any of Carnival's Vista class ships at this point. I mean, that was our last sailing, was on the Vista, and I just don't think I would do it again. All 3 of them have had issues with their propulsion despite various fixes and dry docks. A free cruise is great, but not worth missing out on a cruise that you've been looking forward to for months or even years, especially since that only covers an equal cruise fare, just the fare, not taxes, port fees, insurance, and any additional purchases you've made. Do you think it's fair that only the first 2 cruises got 100% cruise credit? I think the reason for this is those first 2 cruises, those people are probably have no chance of rebooking. I doubt many on the last 2 sailings are going to be able to rebook either. Some will, but there's just no way Carnival has enough open cabins available for everyone to rebook. Plus, I'm sure the prices are much higher than what they were, so that cruise credit is not going to be worth as much. Let me know in your comment what your thoughts are. I especially want to hear from anyone that has been booked on one of these 4 cruises. Are you ready for story time? I'm going to do the most embarrassing thing and show you a photo of what I looked like this week when half of my face was covered in poison ivy. But before I do that, if you enjoy this video and maybe even learn something, consider subscribing with the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any future posts. Be sure to hit that like button as well. It only takes a second, and doing so helps cruisers like you find us. If you're a channel regular, you will probably know that I spent the last week dealing with having poison ivy rash on almost half my face. I talked about this at the end of last week's Cruise News video, so go back if you missed that. Back when I was still naive as of the drama about to unfold. Quick recap. First, last Thursday I noticed that I had some itching behind my ear, and then as Friday unfolded, a rash started spreading across the left side of my face and onto my eyelid even. It was Saturday morning, though, that I finally realized it was from poison ivy that I must have gotten from handling firewood and then touching my face. Well, that spread quickly throughout the day and started to get pretty noticeable. But it was Sunday morning when I woke up to my left eye almost completely swollen shut. I even skipped church that morning, which is huge for me. I usually only miss when I'm cruising because I'm in charge of the audio-visual team at our church, which means I'm the only one that really knows all the jobs and can put out fires when they pop up. Anyway, I still went to work Sunday night, and thankfully I could see a little bit better. Monday, I was able to get into our clinic and get a prednisone shot and a Z-Pack to take, and this is what I looked like on Monday. The swelling on my eyelids was down, but under my eye, the swelling got really bad. The photo doesn't even do it justice. Of course, that ignores the itching and painfulness of the rash. It was really bad behind my ear, and then every time I would answer the phone at work, I would forget and end up slamming the back of my earring into it, which really hurt. Luckily, the meds kicked in. The rash is slowly getting better. I realize it's still there. It's definitely still there, but the swelling is gone. The rash is mostly dried up. It doesn't itch for the most part, and I hope to be able to actually put makeup on Sunday. I just don't think it's a good idea to be putting stuff on it until the rash is basically gone, so that's why you're getting this look. This has definitely been a lesson that I'm not going to soon forget. The temps dropped Thursday, and I went to go build a fire, and boy, did I make sure to use my gloves and then wash my hands as soon as I finished handling any firewood. Thanks to those of you who have sent kind thoughts and words my way. I really appreciate this little community we're growing here, and I do notice the regulars when they like and comment. Stay tuned this week as I'm going to be going back to posting a Tuesday video, and as always, posting those daily 60-second cruise news shorts in the evening. If you're looking for information on how to book a cheap cruise, check out this video playlist and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.